Today is January the 20th, 2008. Um, I spoke earlier about in fact, I tried my best to the very best of my ability to answer some question that was posed to me by some of, I will assume some of my supporters, because even if it's you can't hurt my feelings. I'm open for suggestions and I'm open for criticism. But I don't know whether I fully expounded on them, I explained to them exactly how deep this mentally ill thing is. Mentally ill, uh, be you born with mental illness, or you sustain, it comes from a job related injury or post trauma depression or military. Mental illness is a horrible thing that family members has to endure, and especially when you love you love your loved one, when you deeply care for your loved ones. The fact of the matter is this: we have, from my experience, my past, and my experience today, we have a lot of what people don't really realize is we have a lot of mentally ill men on the street, and they're not bums or hoodlums. They are mentally ill because they have served in that Vietnam War, and they have served in the Iraqi freedom, war, and they it's just something that you just don't want to have if you can help it. But when it hits you, you can't help but reach out to them. You see, the fact of the matter is this: my father was a World War II veteran, but I thank God he did not have suffer from mental illness. In fact, he was served in the United States Navy. And I also had two brothers that served in the Vietnam War. In fact, both of my brothers was in Vietnam at the same time. And it was not a very good experience for the family. In the meantime, a lot of my friends that I grew up with served in the Vietnam War. And I had a very dear friend, very dear friend. We were like brothers. He was another brother. If I didn't have one, he was the brother that I would always wanted. He suffered from mental illness from his Vietnam era, and it was a horrible thing to watch him suffer. So it's not like I said, it's not a very good thing. It's not a very good thing. But when you're handed an apple and it's rotted in half, is good. You just cut off the rotten part and you throw it away. But that doesn't work with mental illness. It's there to stay, and it's really no cure for mental illness. I don't really think it is. But in the meantime, another thing people do not really understand or realize, that it's not people like myself that have mental illness in their family. We have doctors, and we have lawyers, we have CEOs, we have bankers, we have it's a wide range, a broad range of people that you will never imagine that have people with mental illness. Now, last year, I traveled to, can you hand me that back, my wallet? I traveled to Atlanta because I wanted to go to, that was 2006. I wanted to talk to the Atlanta Constitution, the Atlanta Journal, about the problem I was having with my son. And I went to Atlanta, and as I stated, you can hardly see it, but this is the sticker that they gave me, the pass that they gave me to go get in there. I traveled to Atlanta on the 12th, 2006, and I met with Mr. Andy Miller. And at the time I met with him, he was in the process of doing a story on the mentally ill in Atlanta area, because they're mentally ill in that area because they had heard a lot of horrifying stories. And he said to me that they would start doing these stories the first of 2005, in January 2005. And out of those stories, I have clippings, and I have the Atlanta Journal, which I went I would go to the store every Sunday morning. I'd buy that Atlanta Journal. And he also told me while I was there that they was going to cut, discontinue that paper. But the stories that I read, how mentally ill people were being abused in those hospitals, being beaten with aluminum bats, and how one young lady, her mother complained about her stomach being hurting and the swelling, and no one did anything about it, and they found her the next day in the bed dead. Her bowels had backed up through her mouth. That's no way to treat a mentally ill person. I also read an article, and you can check with them and find out, because the paper's still there. They don't get rid of that stuff. You can always check it out. How this attorney, his son was over there, and how his son had gone through these horrible experiences, and he needed, he walked away, and they couldn't find him, and they looked for him, and he had a private investigator and looked for him. They found his son downtown in Atlanta in one of the parks. He'd hung himself. You see, we as human beings and Christians, we must look out for the least of God's people. And in my heart and my mind and my soul, they are the least of God's people, and I love them. Even I love them, and I love, just like I love my son, because they are all God's children. We must look out after them, and we must not speak ill of the mentally ill, and we must not be so fast to criticize the mentally ill. We must not be so fast to judge the mentally ill, because they do have problems. They do have problems. We just need decent facilities in which to put our children so that they won't have to go through these changes. Now, with that aside, I would like to read a letter here that I have from the National Alliance of Mental Illnesses, NAMI. This is an organization that is comprised of over 350,000 people, and I am blessed to be a member of NAMI. I joined NAMI, and I would read the letter. The letter says, Charles Ranglin, SC Southeast Regional Coordinator, Division of MHDDAD, Georgia Department of Human Resource, Savannah, Georgia, 31406, and it's dated November the 1st, 2006. It states, Dear Mr. Charles Ranglin, attached to this letter is the original of a DHR complaint/suggestion form that we are filing with you on behalf of Mrs. Clara May Curry concerning the allegation and mistreatment of her son by the Savannah Area Behavioral Health Collaborative, a contractor of service to the state of Georgia. The complaint/suggestion form with many attached supporting documents are furnished to you with the request that you assign a complaint control number and furnish that number to Mrs. Curry for her file. The submission is very lengthy with multiple documentation and will be accompanied by a series of photographs, audio tapes to be presented at your request. Mrs. Curry will be available to meet with you and your staff at your convenience for a detailed explanation of her charges. While the events surrounding this alleged mistreatment of her son happened, before you became the current regional coordinator, Mrs. Curry feels strongly that the possible death of her son and the continuing mistreatment of other consumers require a vigorous investigation on your part and action to correct and prevent additional harm to other consumers in the same facility. This mother was referred to NAMI by a professional member of our affiliate and has since become a member, which we will support with our program. Her son is now in treatment in the recovery unit of Georgia Regional Hospital at Savannah and doing very well. It is obvious to me that Mrs. Curry tried everything that she could do with everyone in the DHR system and the state government to have this mistreatment addressed to no avail. This mother is a wonderful advocate for her son and even went to Atlanta and met with Governor Sonny Perdue seeking help. She also feels that because she advocated for her son with the provider for his appropriate treatment, he was reprised against by the professionals at the facility, as was others. Rarely have I seen such a dedicated family member who has advocated so strongly and with such zeal. I recommend that you review this complaint/file, and at the earliest request, Mrs. Curry meet with you for a detailed presentation of her son's case. We in NAMI Savannah will assist this mother to whatever degree necessary. I know personally after meeting you and welcoming you to our area that you will pursue this matter to a proper conclusion. If we in NAMI can be of any assistance in this or any other matter, please call on us as your partner in providing adequate and effective treatment for our citizen.